Okay. I was asked if I would moderate this panel. I was delighted to do it. We have 5 of the amazing people from the show, 3 of them still living on it, 2 of them in the past. But that doesn't mean they're not still alive in our hearts. And I believe finally everybody is here. So I'm going to bring them on. It's in alphabetical order, just so you don't think I'm playing any favorites, okay? Wait till I get to the end of the names and then go crazy with applause. Lauren Cohen, DANAI GURIRA, David Morrissey, Norman REEDUS, and Michael Rooker.
Morning. Hi. You got any more in?
So, I guess we'll start with the person who has the most official name of the group. The leader, even though he's now a deceased leader, David, as the governor. Just stick my nose in here, probably one of the best villains I have ever seen on television. What was the whole Walking Dead experience like for you? You've done lots of stuff in England, but was it a whole different ballgame?
Well, no. I mean, the thing for me was I've known Andrew Lincoln for a long time, and I was a big fan of the show. I watched the pilot. You know, Andrew was in it, and another great friend of mine, Lenny James, who played Morgan. So I came to the show as a fan, and on that first season, I just thought it was fantastic. I thought everybody was just brilliant in it. So then when I went to LA to visit a friend of mine, and they asked me if I would like to join the show, and I was like, yeah, definitely. And then I was very nervous about joining the show because, you know, I always am anyway, but as soon as you get there, everyone's great. You know, we all get on really well. It was a great character, and I was working with Michael, so it was like me and Michael first in Woodbury, and we just had a laugh. It was great. It's
You call that work?
yeah, we just we just went for it, and it was a really great place to be. I remember the first thing I was doing, I had to drive a truck, and I was in the driving seat, and Michael had to tell me which side of the field to drive on because I come from England. But apart from that, everything else was great.
Yeah, that's the hardest part of the British acting in an American series. Isn't the accent? It's which side of the road you drive on.
Yeah, not the accent, just the driving. That was it. But then, you know, in The Walking Dead, you can drive on any side of the road you want.
Michael, as the other departed person from the company, can we jump in? You had a certain chemistry with David, and some kinds of cool stuff happened. But for you, what was the most arresting part of doing the show?
There wasn't one. You know, I enjoyed the first three episodes on the rooftop, 115 degrees, sweating, brutalizing ourselves up there, and then it got worse. I mean, well, you guys were into it before I was, but I didn't come back until really the 3rd season. Right. But the 2nd season, I came back toward the end there with Norman, and I mean, we were really in the jungle out there, man. There are ticks and snakes and bugs that want to crawl in your ear, up your nostrils, and they get in your hair and in your underwear, stuff like that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's the hardest part for me.
So it's physically not a fun shoot. Okay.
No, everything, it was a lot of fun, yeah.
Okay, Lauren, I guess romance is not a big factor normally on The Walking Dead, but it has been in your case. What is it like to be holding on to the love story or one of the love stories in the show?
I think that, at least for the character, that can kind of help keep you sane, to have somebody that, it's so funny, I mean, even doing the show, you need a hug a lot of the time from sort of the emotional journey that it is. But I think it's important, you know, I think it's important to see that these things exist and that people find love and that, I don't really know. I mean, you know, everybody needs to. I'm still really tired, everybody, sorry. I'm thinking about, you know, sleeping. But,
Wow, there's a lot of people here.
I know, yeah.
Shit! Holy shit! My God! You know, when I first got here, man, I'm only looking here. And then I realized I look over here, and there's more people over here. Oh my God! This is, oh, I'm sleepy.
Okay. Now that you get, thank you for what you said. Let me fling a curveball at you to wake you up more. I know all of us who know both the comic book and the show know that they're not literally the same and they go back and forth, but next issue of the comic book has you holding a baby on the cover, your character holding...
I don't read the comics
You
that
don't,
far,
right?
so don't spoil anything for me.
Okay.
No, I actually intentionally don't. I read the comic books up until we got to the prison, and so many things differ with the characters, and then you kind of get hooked on storylines or excited about storylines, and you don't really think too much about it. But you know what? I'm gonna let you ask that question. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, again, this is not a sneaky way. I was told on peril of having my fingernails ripped out not to ask what happens in season 5 at any point. But with that out there, I didn't know if that was a sign of what was in your future.
Do you always obey?
No. Well, they said you would rip my fingernails out, which I believe might happen.
No, I would never do that. That's the
Only if you ask
governor's job.
nicely.
So, anyway, territory you'd rather not go into at this point?
It's not so much territory I'd rather not go into. I mean, there's probably a lot of people who do read the comics, and I think that you can all appreciate that the show diverts from the comics because it keeps us surprised. And I know that our writers like to mix it up, and sometimes you'll see things happening to one character that will end up in the comic that will end up happening to somebody else in the show, and I think that helps keep it fresh on a lot of levels. Fresh, when we're talking about Walking Dead. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot in store for all of us, and it's interesting when people say, oh, your character's changed a lot from here to here, and I think this season there's been more monumental change for most of us in this season. I can't say that much.
So when you just filmed?
In the season that's currently being made by people who work on the show.
Okay, cool.
Maybe so.
DANAI, let me come over to you here. One of the ways... One of the ways you grabbed everybody's attention is you come on there with a lot of intensity and mystery, and gradually we find pieces of your life get revealed to us. But the one thing we know from the start is you have your katana. Again, that is as much a part of your character as your hair or anything. You obviously are not someone used to, in real life, wielding a weapon like that, are you? How long did it take you to get used to it? Do you live with it? Do you train with it?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a few in my house, but they're not quite as stellar as the one on the show, which I can't walk 2 paces off the set with. I mean, the props guys are like, okay, did I? Yeah, I can't go anywhere with that one, with the mothership, the mother sword. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. It was something I had to get attached to, and I actually learned more about her as I was training with it in the very beginning before I started shooting. It really was something I could understand. Oh, I see, this is an extension of her power, and she found a new identity in this weapon as she was stepping into this new apocalyptic realm. And so it is a very powerful, very fascinating weapon. And you watch a lot of the films where the experts are using it, and it's really kind of astounding what an amazing thing it is. I'm constantly learning more about it, and I have to because there's so much to learn, and I'm nowhere near an expert at it. But yeah, it's been really, really awesome to connect with her through the weapon and understand. It helped me understand her and how she didn't need to talk much in the beginning because she was in a realm where it wasn't about talking, it was about getting the job done, and that's kind of where she found her identity after her traumas.
Cool. As detail freaks noticed, on the handguard at the hilt there, there's the triquetra, one of the religious symbol, for the Trinity and that. Is there anything you feel religious about her use of the weapon? Is it like Excalibur and King Arthur and one of these sacred swords?
It's not sacred to her, it's in that realm. I mean, I think for her, it really is something that she's a very pragmatic person. For her, it's about pragmatism, it's about getting things done, and it's about having something that's effective and efficient and urgent, like that works in an urgent, immediate way that she can rely on. And that is so what the katana is for her. So it does become this extension of her arm, something that she knows is right there and can work for her in a flash. And so that's kind of more what it is for her.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is very cool, that the symbol on the sword. And you know, John Sanders, who designed the sword, he talks a lot about it. I'm sure you guys have heard him talk about how he designed it and what everything means on it. And it's amazing. I mean, there's even real eel skin in there because, you know, that's the sort of thing that would really absorb blood. And so he actually made sure that it was made with eel skin. A lot of really great detail. But I think for her, it's really about pragmatism, effectiveness, efficiency, and the ability to get the job done at the drop of a hat.
I want to stay with the sword a minute more and drag David into this, because for me...
No, you might do that, yeah.
Yeah. One of the most horrific moments in the series for me to date has been, of course, when you take the sword and do Herschel with it, who is one of the most saintly characters in it. To me, that was the ultimate, I don't know if you want to say act of sacrilege, the act of, you know, the real darkness going after the real light in the show. And it just literally made me go, when I saw it. When you found out that you were gonna have Herschel and with the katana, did that resonate for you?
Yeah, that whole episode I thought was amazing. I mean, when the scripts come, you know, we read the scripts and it's so sad when people have to go, but you know, and Scott Wilson, who is a fantastic actor. I'm a great man, and it was really difficult. You know, I read that and then I skipped on a few pages and then I go as well. So, I mean, that's part of the show. I think, you know, what was great about that episode was its scale. The fact that the governor turns up, he's got the tank, you know, everybody's in the prison, and just the, you know, but all those episodes. I think what's great about the show is the characterization. You know, the way the writers give us these great lines, they give us great characters to play, and even in 3 episodes, which I had in season 4, you know, you saw this man battling with himself, battling with his inner demons, and then they just triumph in the end, and there he is, and he makes this ultimate sacrifice. It wasn't just this one clean cut as well, it went on for ages.
Yeah, he didn't know how to use the damn thing.
I don't know. I'm not trained like, you know, like Michelle was, so I sort of had to have quite a few goes at it. But it was a great episode. It was, you know, like I say, the show just keeps topping everything it does. Really.
Great, thank you, sir. We've been waiting.
Can I do a thing with my baby?
Thank you. You've been the real mystery man, the wild card in the show to me, and I think to the viewers as well. Started out, it was like, oh, who's that guy? Oh yeah, he's weird. Oh, maybe he's on the bike, maybe he's not. He's got this creepy brother.
Say I have an underbite?
Yeah.
Oh, on the bike, I think you said with an underbite.
But as it's gone on, you have increased in depth and importance, and a lot of the artwork for this season have like you and Rick, you know, as kind of like the 2 pillars up there. What has it felt like for you to become, as you can see, a huge fan favorite and to grow in the series?
And I don't know, the whole job has changed me in a bunch of different ways. I really like this job and I like all these people a lot. I mean, they're really my family. I think I have more friends in Sonoya than I do anywhere else, to be honest. I don't know, but it's been interesting, you know, for all the characters. I mean, Steven's not the same Steven he was when we started. None of us are. It's interesting. I mean, this has been a weird couple of days, to be honest. I worked yesterday, and then they put so much oily stuff all over me, I didn't realize it. And then I went home, tried to shower all that crap off and all the dirt, and then left this giant ring of dirt in my bathtub. And then went to the airport. I was starving because I missed lunch. Then I got a hamburger at the airport, sat down in my seat, and people are getting on the plane. I'm starting to eat it, and I look around, and there's like 12 camera phones on me. Right? So I got in the bathroom of the airplane and ate my food. And I'm hiding in the bathroom eating a cheeseburger. And I'm like wiping like black dirt off my ear, eating a cheeseburger, waiting for everybody to get on the plane. Then I sat down. Then I came here, but I didn't have shoes. So these are my stunt double shoes, which are like 3 sizes too big for me. So I'm like hobbling around in this, and then this fucking alarm went off last night. I wanted to kill somebody. I'm so out of it right now. So good morning. Yeah.
By the way, so that alarm wasn't last night, it was this morning.
Yeah, it's
4 a.m., y'all.
like an hour, and then you couldn't hear the intercom guy. He was like, what is it? It's a what?
Eat it!
Yeah, bring it up here. I can't see you, man. Oh, like jerky? Or
Is it a real squirrel? Is it jerky?
What?
Oh, you can't eat it?
Somebody gave me squirrel once in a bag at one of these. I swear to God. And she goes, yeah, I hunted it down with a shovel. I was like, wow.
Brand new superhero, Canadian book called Red Squirrel.
Oh, it's an ad. Thank you very much.
And he thought he was getting squirrel jerky to eat.
Shirt for him too. Company name is Poor Man Comics.
Oh, it truly is an ad. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. No.
Oh, thank you very much. Bye. Thank you.
Well, that was quite the bum rush right there. I gotta give him credit for that. Yeah.
Now see, okay, people, they try to take photos of you eating your burger and they come up and give you stuff like this. Did you ever think this kind of stuff was gonna happen when you signed on to do the show?
Oh, no. No. I don't know. The show is so good. I'm a fan of the show. I'm a fan of everybody on the show. The writing is so good right now, and the stories are so fucking good. I mean, sorry, children. I never thought there would be people asking me to do this. You know what I mean? And then, I went to London and I took these selfies licking monuments as I went around, and then Charlie Chaplin, and I just licked everybody in London for like a weekend. And then now that's, what? What was that?
Somebody said lick me.
It's a, what do you call that?
Keep it at least PG-13, please, okay?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
Okay. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of, let me get down to something practical, the crossbow. And you had never shot one before in your life, had you?
Not before I started this show. I'm pretty good now. He's probably better. He's got a gun range. He's probably better than me. But they gave me I'm good with the compound bow right now. They gave me one of those, and the place I live in Georgia, this company sent me all these tie-dyed, tighty-whitey underwear. So I threw away all my underwear, and I just wear the tie-dye ones as much as possible. Which is weird, I don't know why. But I wake up every morning and I make coffee and I walk downstairs in the woods where I live with the compound bow in my tighty-whitey underwear, and I have targets set up by the trees, and I have a coffee and I shoot the thing at the targets, and sometimes I miss and they stick into the trees, but they stick so far into the trees I can't pull them out, so all the trees around the back of my house have arrows sticking all over them. But yeah, I'm pretty good with that. I'm so tired, I'm rambling, I'm so sorry.
This is to get to the true side of things. You made an allusion to the fact that the show can be emotionally harrowing to work on, and I guess sometimes I sit at home, as everybody does, and say, what is it like to go through this all the time? I mean, seriously, does it have a real emotional downside? Do you go down doing it?
Danai, what did you say to me yesterday? Danai was telling me a story about how she hurt her knee and my knees stopped aching. It's like what was it you said? You said,
It was an episode where he, of course, caused some havoc. And, he will forever be responsible for my knees hurting forever. It was when the bread truck comes into the prison and all the walkers come out. And I have to run, I'm trying to shoot, and then Michonne's a terrible shot. And then I have to run to help Herschel. And I had to I dropped the gun and I had to pull out my sword and run. And I'd been working on my running, because I'm more of a kick punch girl. I'm not really into the running thing. I do it when I have to, but it's not my favorite thing. And so I would have been working on okay, I'm gonna run, sprint through this episode, sprint. And so I've been working on a treadmill. But then I forgot, or didn't realize, that the prison, that has all that high grass around it, but you can't see the ground underneath it. And of course, I think they ripped out something I don't know, something that was tarmac or something to get the grass to grow. So basically it does this, it's just a bunch of dips and jumps and dips and jumps. And so I was sprinting that, going, trying to still look like I knew what I was doing, trying to still look somewhat cool. And I'm dropping 3 feet and coming back up and dropping 3 feet and coming back up and still trying to look steady. And by the end of it, my knees were shot. Thank you.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was talking about, but basically.
That was the story, though. That's
but also for that story, but my knees hurt when she tells me that story, and I think that's one thing with The Walking Dead, is I read anything that happens to any character, and I just I think that's what happens to all of us. You just we're so in it now that you just get sympathy pain, yeah, literally. But thank you. But no, my knees started to hurt, but we were in the car tonight and you said, I love you, Cohen, you just feel.
No, because you tell her anything and she goes, oh no, I can't.
And then she just says,
it's beautiful.
Cup of tea. But it's true, it's why we love doing it. And it's like Norman said, literally we are more family in this family than in any other situation in life. We don't see our own families as much because of doing the show, but I feel like we have that in this, and it comes with the blessing and with the hard side of really just feeling deeply, like you guys all do when you watch the show. You know that you're in for an emotional ride and you still want to keep watching, and you just, my friend who started watching the show when I was on it was like, I love this show and I love you, but damn you for making me addicted because it's so stressful. And it's true, but I just feel like this is so real. I feel like we get to tell, in this crazy universe, we get to tell such real stories, and The Walking Dead to me, in this zombie crazy apocalypse where people eat people, feels so real. So, I appreciate that to the nth degree, and appreciate you guys to the nth degree. Because I said to someone the other day that it still feels, you meet fans, and I know that the show is hugely popular, but it still always feels like this little secret code between us. It still feels like it's ours. And that's something to really cherish. And, we have a special group up here. So
you opened up a big point I'd like to fling open for any of you to address, which is, the show is very popular because it's well made, it's well acted, it's well shot, and all that. But there's something deeper that I think keeps suckering us in every week. And it seems to be about reflecting the society and the world we're in today, and maybe where we're going. Maybe it's not a zombie apocalypse, but there's another apocalypse.
Yeah, and it's the idea of disconnecting, and I think that we can all relate to the fact that you can just walk through mindlessly, you can disconnect from things and be a walker, you can be a zombie, but this group that keeps trying to survive despite the odds knows there's something more, and doesn't want to sort of succumb to the darkness. And not that social media is the darkness, but I think we do want to throw our phones away and be connected. And I don't know, at least for me, that's what I love about the show and where we shoot, because it's just, like Norman said, where else, you live in New York City and then we're in Atlanta and you have a garden where you shoot arrows and trees. That's really special. But you know, we get to live a wild life.
I mean, DANAI, we were talking a bit outside briefly. This woman is also an incredibly gifted playwright and actress, has done great serious work. And I'm wondering, when you're doing this week after week, what kind of a journey do you feel Sean is going on?
Well, what I connected to when I came in later than these guys, and it was something really amazing to look at what they'd done and this astounding piece of work they'd already built and created, this fan base that they'd already created. And what really connected me actually was the fact that, a little extending on what Lauren said, it felt to me like a war zone, and it felt very real that way and very visceral, in the sense that one of the plays I researched was about war. And so I'd gone to a war zone area, and it really felt similar in what they had managed to make very tangible, which is that idea that, when everything is gone, if all the structures we're used to go away, who do you become? And I mean, thankfully, we on this soil have not experienced that for a very, very long time. But there are other parts of the world where it's happening all the time, and we see it in the news every day, where, the structures, the homesteads, the ability to pick up the phone and call and get help, all those things go away, and that's real in the world right now. And that's the way that the thing that I loved about this show is it asked that question that a war zone will ask of you, which is, what is your humanity, where is your humanity gonna fall when that happens? Who are you gonna become? Are you gonna become him? Or, are you gonna become, someone who transforms so beautifully like a Daryl, or someone who just spirals into more darkness like a Governor? But the question is who are you gonna become? Because something is going to affect, you're not gonna be who you are right now. And so for me, that was very interesting about Michonne, because it felt to me like she was one of those women in war. Like, I was researching specifically women for the play, and she felt like, just from what Kirkman had created on the page, she felt like one of those chicks who really do become a very formidable force when they can no longer rely on anybody else. And so watching her journey from, the great thing also about this show is that it starts people in different spots. So you see Rick go through the very, waking up into it and journeying through it. And you see everyone at different points of it, but you never see, and there's some people you see when they're far along, like when my character came or when the Governor came, and we're already in our post-apocalyptic selves. And then you kind of have to trek back to, okay, who were these people? And that's it's been a very interesting thing to journey with her, is she's in a post-apocalyptic self, so she's not trying to be friendly, she's not trying to be warm, and she's kind of cut off, and she's kind of calloused by her wounds. No one knows what they are, because she don't feel like talking about it. She's dealing with the realm that she finds very hostile. And then slowly, finding the right people, she starts to open up again and re-find herself. So that's been a real blessing and a gift to get to navigate and have these amazing writers allow me to navigate, is seeing her sort of recapture her old self and meld it with her new self. And then where does she go from there, and what does she become? So it's been a really interesting journey.
Norman? One of the things I found most interesting in the last season was how the focus to you and Beth for a while moved on. There was that whole episode, it seemed, was practically just the two of you. When you realized you were going to get that kind of a different side, quiet side of your character to come out for a while, what did you think?
I was excited to work with Emily. I mean, she's such a good actress, and she's a musician, she's a listener, she's a performer. Everything she says is so honest, and it was nice, because you wouldn't normally pair those two up, I think, so it made it interesting. But I think we were high-fiving more every take, and it was a good bonding moment for the two of us. That stuff, sitting on the porch, listening to her, tell stories and give that speech, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to listen to her. She was so good in that. And I think she was kind of like, at that point, with everything that had happened in the story, with everybody losing each other, and that dude coming in with his big tank and stuff, which I blew up that tank, by the way. That sort of really wimpy layup I did. But at that point, I think she's sort of like this, little flame of hope at the end of some long tunnel. And then, I get it's taken away. But, which like everything on the show does. But, I don't know, it was nice to work with her.
Yeah,
I had a really nice time with her.
It was a beautiful thing for you to have too. Your acting in those scenes was super. Great, we like seeing that side of you too.
It was on, I know all these rumors about like his sexuality and all that stuff. Like, I can't answer these questions, but it's interesting. But it was on Howard Stern the other day. They go, yeah, the big news is that Daryl might be gay, right? And then Howard goes, yeah, you know, I think so, because he was in that house with that pretty blonde girl. All he did was pee in the corner. It's like, yeah, that's... Baba Booey! There you go, Baba Booey.
Something I've always wanted to know, because it is so intense, and all of you, and I imagine most of the cast are crazy people and fun people, but what do you do to diffuse the tension? Is it like being at summer camp or at college during exam time? What do you do at nights? Do you play games?
We play Heads Up.
Explain.
Not at night, but there's this, you guys know the app, it's the Ellen DeGeneres one, you gotta get this app, it's like, it's save you. You played it yet? No, we had some sessions this month, it was fun. But what do we do otherwise?
We're very goofy, like, you know, we do tend to like joke a lot with each other when we're in between, or like in between setups or whatever, like we do tend to keep each other laughing quite consistently throughout the day.
Heads Up is a charades game, just figured I'd close that out. It's a charades game.
But when the cameras are rolling, it's always consistently dead serious, right?
It's so hard to goof around because if somebody's always got something really grave to deal with, but I mean, we are so naturally all really, really goofy that it's like, it's not necessarily prankster. I have to say, Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene, though, is an absolute prankster. And this season has been like, I don't even know. It's so hard to tell stories about a prank that was made when you don't know the person it was played on. So I'm gonna stop talking.
You know what? There's not really a lot of time to do a lot of pranks when you're working because we're doing this. I say we, but you know, when I was there, and it's still happening. It's in 8 days usually. 8 days. These guys are filming beautifully put together, edited, acted, you know, filmed movies, tiny little movies, you know, and you don't, you know, you want to, every now and then you do, but most of the time you really are into it and you just want to get it done and go and pick the ticks off your body, you know.
Yeah.
And apparently the sun doesn't stay up after sunset.
You're always chasing the light. So.
Also, it's not just us. I mean, you know, there's us in front of the camera, but there's a whole army of people behind the camera who work so hard. I mean,
250 people and more want to get home.
It's amazing. I've worked on shows, you know, we all have all around the world and stuff. It's our crew are the best crew I've ever worked with. They're fantastic. And like Michael was saying before about the conditions, you know, the conditions are tough, but we're in a great show, so we love it. But it's not just us. It's like, in 8 days, when you see the work, it's like major movies happen in 8 days. Every episode we do, you know, we're blowing stuff up. It's great depth of character. There's great sequences. There's great, you know, the zombies, all that makeup. Greg Nicotero and his team. For everybody, and not just the guys on the floor doing it for us, but you know, girls in the offices, people making sure that everything is there for us when we get to work. And that team that makes us work so well. So it's a great place to be on. So. Yeah, we have a laugh, but no one loses sight of the seriousness of the show and the quality of the show. And maybe at the weekends we'll get together and we'll eat and we'll do. But you are tired, you know. You go through it, and we get to. This is where we have our laugh. I have to say, when we get together at things like this, and we meet you lot, we meet the fans, and that's great, and we have a real laugh then. But when you're at work, it really is 24/7, and you're going for it, not just for us, but for everybody on that set. It's full on.
There's a lot of respect for each other. Like, we all really respect each other. And like Lauren said, everybody has something horrible to do almost every day. So everybody gives each other their space and, you know, quiet when they need to be quiet. And if, you know, somebody has something very serious to do and your headphones are on and you're just not engaging because you do something later. Everybody
once the headphones are on, everyone leaves you alone.
Yes.
Don't bother him, headphones on.
Guys, I'm going to have to wrap it a bit, but I thought, if you didn't mind, I'd ask each of you to share one moment from the experience of Walking Dead you'll remember the most so far. Laurie, you're happening right here, so you get it first.
I think one of the most special moments was in the beginning of season 3 when we are around the campfire and we've just found the prison, and we sit around the campfire and Emily and I sing a song for Herschel, and not even knowing at that time that he was going to be going later that season. I look back on that as just, it just felt like family, and that was, yeah, that was cool.
No?
I remember the Herschel day too, that the whole crew had suspenders on. It was, and just seeing 1,000 people wearing suspenders, and it was kind of awesome.
That was great. Michael?
No, I was already gone before Herschel. But I see Herschel a lot at the cons, and he's alive and well. His leg is working quite well. It grew back as my hand.
So what was your favorite moment you remember from the show?
Dude, you know what? My favorite moment is still happening. You know, I look at all these guys. You know, I got my surrogate brother right here. We're still pals, and you know, it's beautiful. Life is good, and David was saying, I mean, the good times. Sometimes when we have time to have good times, and these guys are working their butts off. It's usually here at the cons.
Tonight?
Oh God, I was thinking, and I just can't locate one thing. I think what's really great for me is the spirit of the thing. You know, it is an astounding gift to be a part of this, and I don't take that for granted, or try not to, because I know that is not the case for a lot of other shows where you have a cast like this. And you know, the goofing off sometimes is about us bonding and actually sometimes decompressing a little bit, because we know how deep we have to go in. But that level of support, the level of the crew, they bring me so much joy to be able to see them every day and, you know, have a laugh with each of them, or have a quick chat, or just bond and understand that they understand what you're doing and that they support it. It's really the spirit of the whole thing. It's feeling the amazingness of Andy Lincoln, who I just have to give a shout out to. You know, the fact, you know, he sort of gave the show, along with the creators, the tone of the show, and he's such an astounding supporter of our work, and he really encourages everyone. He's such a great leader. Like, he encourages you, he's there, you've got a kindness, a gentleness, a presence, a support, you know, and I know that's not the case on every show where the leading guy is that generous. And it's really all those little, when I think about it, it's all those little in-between moments, those beautiful moments where, you know, I could talk about tons of things I loved doing, shooting, but it's those moments where you just have all these beautiful human connections every day with so many different people, and feel an amazing support and a love, and it just makes going to work really a blessing. So I think that's really what it is for me.
Great.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I could pick so many. I mean, it's the experience of being there as a whole is a great thing. You know, I mean, it was an hour for me from my front door to the studio, and it was every morning I got in my car and I was happy to go to work, and you can't always say that, but I did. I mean, I really loved going to set. I loved being with the people. But just sitting here, I remember one thing, I could choose so many, but there was in Michael's last episode, which I thought was a fantastic episode, a way of turning the character around. We had this fight at the end, and we had this fight, and there's some great locations there, but they discovered this location which they thought was fantastic. And it was this like warehouse that hadn't been used for like 20 years or something. And I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. You know, Michael went, no, hang on. You gotta clean this place. You can make it look dirty, but we're not gonna fight. There's rats in here, there's water. And you know, I wasn't thinking in those terms, but it was great that somebody else was, and he was able to, you know, clean it, because actually, you know, it was a great thing, and just someone looking after each other in that way. And he was, you know, he was doing it because we were going to go for it. We weren't just going to go in there and just like pat each other. We were going to go for it, and we were going to go for it many, many times. So we were going to be breathing very deeply in this place that was full of crap. You know, and he said, I don't mind artificial crab, but not real crab, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. It was really, so I really thank him for that, and we really went for it, and then I bit his fingers off. Which, you know, just as a thank you.
Okay, really, honestly, the bottom line is all of us, dead or alive, we are and we have been involved with a project that will live forever and ever. It never goes away. We were all very special to get this opportunity to be involved with a project like this. And man, oh man, it does not happen often, if at all, in the career of an actor, to be involved with something like this. So, unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Just to conclude, I think you can tell from everybody here, but we love the work you do and did, and we're so happy you're still on The Walking Dead and everybody there. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you all. Thank you all.